Am I the jerk for telling all my family that if I'm babysitting there are no rules? My family tends to assign me, an 18-year-old female, to watch my nieces and nephews when we get together. I am also the go-to for babysitting. I do not get paid for this because my siblings watched me when I was little, so I owe them. I do not really mind. I love all the kids, and they are well-behaved and polite. With me at least, because I do not tolerate their misbehavior. I established authority early with all of them. I do not follow a huge list of rules regarding watching them. I would never allow them to get hurt or anything, but if you want your child to eat vegan, then you better bring a vegan meal for them. Otherwise, they get pizza, dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets, or hot dogs. If they are not allowed to watch certain movies or TV shows, then it is up to you to provide a TV and media because I am putting on Frozen or something similar. My parents keep telling me that I have to follow the rules when I am babysitting. I just keep asking why. What is the worst anyone can do to me? Take away my free babysitting. Poor me. We are in Jasper right now, and it has been extremely hot. So, I took the kids cliff jumping at Horseshoe Lake. I brought them back wet and filthy. Everyone told me that I was being a terrible babysitter. I offered a full refund. Then, I went and got a beer with some friends I made at the lake. I have a full scholarship. When I turned 18, I also got a small inheritance. It is enough that I will not have to work for spending money during my university years and can put a down payment on a house. I will probably leave it though. I literally do not need financial help from my family, so they have no hold over me. My siblings and I all got the exact same inheritance. I was only 3 when my grandmother passed away, so it has been collecting compound interest for almost 20 years. My trust fund is about 4 times what my siblings each got. My family thinks I am being an entitled person, but they also will not pay me. I am more than willing to follow any rule I am paid to follow. You handled things appropriately. You don't owe them anything for something that happened when you were a child and had no say in the matter. If your family wants a fancy, personalized babysitting service, they can hire a professional nanny. You've got everything sorted, don't actually owe them anything, but are still gracious enough to babysit because you love the kids. Am I the jerk for not accepting my friend's birthday gift? About 4 days ago, 2 of my friends, aged 19 years and 18 years, gave me, a 21-year-old male, a sex toy for my birthday. I told them I did not want it and that I found it disrespectful. They said it was meant as a joke, that they thought I would laugh, that I was overreacting, and that I should see the gift in a different light. A couple of days before my birthday, they called me, saying that they wanted me to make a choice between a gift that I had been wanting for a while or another mystery gift they found, which they thought I would really appreciate. I chose the latter, obviously. On my birthday, they forgot the gift, but we still had fun and enjoyed the day. However, we were not able to do the final event for my birthday due to everyone being tired. I was pretty bummed about it, but they reassured me that this mystery gift would make up for it, that I would truly appreciate it, and that they were not joking. After receiving the gift, we had an argument over it. They explained that the gift should not be seen as a diss and that, if they were in my shoes, they would find the gift hilarious. They said that different groups of friends give each other these types of joke gifts all the time. They also mentioned that having a gift like this would be a keepsake as a fond memory, or maybe a funny conversation starter. I responded by saying that we had never given each other gifts like this before, or any joke gift for that matter, so I felt that my reaction was not an overreaction. I told them that I understood that if they were in my shoes, they might find it funny, but that I am not them, and I do not see it that way. I also said that I did not want this in my room, much less my house. The main reason I told them I was upset was how they built up this gift to be a thoughtful gift that I would appreciate. I said that maybe if they had not done that, I would be less upset about it. They said that that was the joke, and that they meant no offense. When I asked for an apology yesterday, they said that they were sorry that I felt this way, but that they were not sorry for giving me that gift because it was meant as a joke. So, am I the asshole? Additional minor information. I do not care if I do not receive a gift from someone for my birthday, but if I were to receive a gift, I would hope that it is thoughtful. This is something that I pointed out to them during our argument. The other gift that I had been wanting for a while, which was part of the choice they gave me in the beginning, was gifted to me by another friend on my birthday. So it is not like I was never gifted it at all. My friends and I planned out the day for my birthday. I would spend time with my family in the beginning of the day and then hang out with my friends for the latter half. We planned a series of activities to do during that half of the day. The last activity was never realized because they got tired at that point. I understood, but I would be lying if I said I was not bummed, since it was the activity I was looking forward to the most, and because we had all agreed on the whole series of events beforehand. Your actions were justified. Joke gifts are a thing, but you don't manipulate the person into thinking it is something thoughtful beforehand to get their hopes up. If this is a gift you'd never laugh at, you have to wonder how well your friends actually know you. There are definitely people who would find this hilarious, and your closest friends should know if you are one of them. You don't give a joke gift if the receiver has clearly indicated that there was a specific gift they wanted. Am I the jerk for ditching my best friend on a trip and spending it with a stranger to salvage my trip? I, a 25-year-old female, went on a girls' trip to a small mountain town with my best friend of over 10 years and her 3 work friends. I quickly realized I was being judged for smoking and wanting to have a couple of beers at lunch. I was the only one who smoked or drank and did not care to capture and record every minute of the trip. They only discussed taking pictures for Instagram. My best friend has always been against my smoking, and this was the first time I smoked in her presence. It is a filthy habit, I know, and I am trying to quit. I was also the only atheist, and the trip included many religious sites. Initially, I accompanied them to these sites, quietly sitting and enjoying nature while they took pictures. After being eye-rolled and talked to passive-aggressively for smoking, always far away from them, I decided to stop going to the religious sites and waited outside. The others were very stingy with money, making things uncomfortable. They ordered only 3 appetizers for 5 people. They waited for buses instead of taking cabs, even though cabs were cheaper than a McDonald's Happy Meal. By the end of the second day, I was not feeling the best. We left a cafe, and I spotted someone I went out on one date with a few months ago. We hit it off well but lived 2 hours apart, so we did not pursue a relationship. I texted him, and he was excited to meet again. My friends decided to sleep in early, so I asked my best friend if it was okay for me to see him. She said sure, so I went out and had a wonderful time catching up with this guy. He invited me to a party at his hostel, and I informed my friend I would be back later. I ended up partying all night and crashed at his place for a couple of hours. I returned to my hotel before 7 a.m., but my best friend ignored me and walked out of our room. Seeing her reaction, I decided to ditch the planned activities and informed her I would see her at dinner. I tried to reason with her and make amends, but she was in no mood. She wanted me to follow everything she had planned, which I had zero interest in, while she remained completely passive-aggressive with me. I spent the rest of the trip with this guy, who extended his stay to hang out with me. I paid for all my expenses and did not completely ditch my friends. I visited the same spots, stayed at the same properties, and spent at least 5 hours a day with them. I just went out to party at night when they went to bed early. Your actions were justified. Your friend, as the middle person between you and her work friends, should have made more of an effort to integrate the group and make it fun for everyone. It sounds like the goal of the trip wasn't really communicated to each other. Neither is wrong, but it seems the friendship has run its course. Am I the jerk for telling my dad's wife that his lies are not my fault, and she shouldn't blame me for him saying she would be my new mom? I, a 17-year-old male, was forced to go to therapy with my dad and his wife Haley 3 months ago. As of our session on Thursday, I am in pretty deep trouble and want to know if I'm wrong. My mom died when I was 7 years old in September 2014. Dad and Haley met in December 2014 and started dating in January 2015. I met Haley in March 2015 at my 8th birthday party. Haley moved in with us in May 2015. Dad and Haley got married in July 2015. Haley always wanted to be a mom. I have heard her say it countless times. She cannot have biological children. I believe she is actually sterile, not just infertile, so there is no chance. Dad knew she wanted kids. He wanted to marry again and have someone else take over raising me, but my dad never wanted more kids. I think Haley was a great option in his eyes. However, he knew I would not be okay with a new mom, and that I would not want to call someone else my mom. So he lied to her about it and said I would want that she would be my new mom, but rushed the marriage so she would not realize the truth. I do not accept Haley as my new mom. She has tried, and I know most of it is genuinely her trying to be a good mom, but I have a mom. She is dead, but she is still my mom. I told Haley this. She ignored me and continued on like I said nothing. I spoke to Dad and saw that he was not going to do anything. So Haley invested all her time and effort into me. Dad was really not around much. I was trying to be independent and not rely on Haley. There were times she told me she would help me with homework, but I would do it in school or finish it while she was doing chores. I started doing chores without her. She would always try to help, but I would do things when I first woke up. I started asking friends' parents if they could drive me to school. I did everything to minimize what she was doing for me. Not everything was possible. She still did cooking and cleaning and took me to doctor's appointments. However, sometimes I would pretend not to be sick to avoid it. I do not know what led to therapy, but I was forced to go with them 3 months ago. Haley was talking about her wishes to be a mom, how her and Dad's marriage was not what she thought it would be, how I am not the son she thought she was getting, and how it annoys her that I am so cold and distant with her. Then on Thursday, after some things were said last week about things Dad said, I told her Dad lied, that I never wanted a new mom and he knew it. She said I should not say those things, and that I am just making life unfair and more difficult. She said I am not doing what I should. I told her Dad's lies are not my fault, and she should not blame me for him saying she would be my new mom. I told her I had no part in that. Both Dad and Haley, after therapy, yelled at me and called me disrespectful. Haley told me I was ungrateful and should have been thrilled to have someone else want to mother me instead of ruining her chance at motherhood. Am I the asshole? You did nothing improper. Your dad sucks and is a massive liar, using a sensitive topic to manipulate everyone without any regard for the consequences. Haley had unrealistic expectations about being a stepmom and expected you to just fall in line while you were still grieving. It's not your fault for not seeing her as your mom. You can't force those types of relationships. She should apologize to you for her words and confront your dad about his lies. Am I the jerk for taking my child back from their other parent? I went to pick up my son, who is 2 years old, last week. When leaving, I was handed shoes that were not mine. This seemed calculated since they weren't by the door when I arrived. I got my shoes and left with my son. I called to discuss some matters and brought up the idea of us seeing other people so we could be on the same page. I suggested that if one of us is seeing someone and it is getting serious, we can let the other know to discuss, make introductions, etc. He agreed. It was not an unreasonable request. Even though it was not my weekend, he allowed me to have our son on Friday to spend time with my brothers who were visiting. I asked if he wanted our son on Friday night, and he said no, Saturday morning. I agreed and told him I would let him know when our son woke up. On Saturday morning, I informed him that our son was awake and I could have him ready by the time he arrived. My son asked for food, so I started making him some. Shortly after, there was a knock at the door. I asked if he wanted pancakes. He has been unemployed all year and sometimes I offer him food. He said he was fine, so I told him I would make them quickly. He seemed rushy and fidgety, so I told him the clothes were on the sofa to dress our son. My son started a fit, which according to him is routine when getting dressed. He asked if our son does that with me, and I told him no. I stopped to talk to our son and calm him, finished the pancakes, and gave the container to his dad. Our son was still upset, so I told them I could walk them down since I had to take the dog out. My dog did his business. I kissed my son goodbye and started back to my apartment. I glanced around and saw movement in the car, so I turned around. There was a woman sitting in the car. I looked at him and asked if he was serious. With a dumbfounded expression, he asked, "What?" I grabbed my son out of his car seat and took him back. He followed and we argued. I told him we had just spoken about this and came to an agreement. He said he knew I would not react positively, so he decided to do what he wanted. I expressed that my issue was not what he was doing, but how he did it. I do not know this person, and from what he says, he probably doesn't know her well either. I do not feel comfortable having someone introduced to my child at this stage and being around him. We still co-sleep with our child, so where is this person sleeping? He left upset and I kept my son for the day. He is trying to gaslight me into thinking that my request is unreasonable. I went back down to apologize to the woman. What happened was not her fault. I let her know I wasn't mad at her. She seemed fine and assured me she didn't know. She said it's super casual and sporadic and she didn't want to step on anyone's toes. On his end, he says it's his girlfriend and I'm keeping him from having a family and happiness. He complains about time with his son. I offered him time on Friday, but he was with her, as I confirmed with her. We both have 2 weekdays and every other weekend child-free. We quit counseling in May, and he has been seeing her since May. She seems nice enough, but I do not know her and do not trust just anyone around my child. Let me know if I am the one at fault here. You are not in the wrong. If he's been seeing this person for months, he could have let you know so the adults could decide if it was serious enough for an introduction. He steamrolled over an agreed-upon boundary, then tried to make it all about him being victimized. I'm keeping him from having a family and happiness. Co-parenting effectively requires putting aside ego and always putting the child first. Children don't need to meet every single person their parents date, and parents need to keep new people to their child-free days until it is serious. Am I the jerk for embarrassing my parents in family therapy? I am a 15-year-old male in family therapy with my parents and my sisters Alicia, who is 13 years old, and Kaylee, who is 12 years old. Therapy is pretty new and not going so well. We're not a close family. We have a lot of issues, and I know we have extra stresses because Alicia has a lot of complex medical issues and can't do everything Kaylee and I can. She needs a wheelchair sometimes. She's on lots of medication, but she can be fine sometimes too and enjoy life. She has limitations we don't. My parents make me feel like they want me to be another adult and not one of their children. They don't like me spending time with friends. They say I could be home helping, taking care of my sisters, or doing stuff at home for them. When I do go, they can make me take one or both sisters and get angry if Alicia can't join. If I'm forced to take one of my sisters or both, I can't have fun. I get stuck making sure they're okay. Even at birthday parties, I can be forced to bring them when they're not invited, and I get to watch them have fun. If I have fun at something and my sisters don't, then I get in trouble. This happened during our last field trip. I had a great time. Alicia had to leave early because she was sick, and Kaylee had such a bad time. I told my grandfather I had a great time, and my parents berated me for it. While Kaylee got to talk about how fun my best friend's birthday at the trampoline park was, Alicia was jealous and missed out. I got berated for not having fun and for acting spoiled that I didn't have a good time. They get mad I don't buy my sister's birthday and Christmas gifts. They get mad that I get gifts from my best friend's parents. They get mad that I get invited to my best friend's family events as a friend for him to hang out with. And it's made clear my sisters aren't invited even if it's something they could be included in. My parents get annoyed when I confide in my grandfather. They also get annoyed if I tell them how they make me feel. Alicia hates being left out, which I get, but I'm the only one my parents get angry with for it. Now we're in family therapy. My parents are using it to talk about how awful I am. They say I'm making life harder for everyone, They didn't expect me to say how things really are, but I did. After my parents said I act like a 5-year-old who doesn't like being the center of attention, I brought up in therapy how they treat me. I explained how I feel like they take their frustration about Alicia requiring so much care out on me, how I'm held to a higher standard, and how they want me to be an adult and not a child. I said they can't stand me having fun without my sisters, or seeing me being the only one having fun, but almost like it when I'm the one not having fun. My parents got very angry with me after the session and accused me of embarrassing them. I told them they just didn't want me to speak so openly in front of my sisters, which is why they include them. Am I the asshole? You are not to blame. If your parents didn't want to be embarrassed by their behavior in therapy, they should have treated you better. Therapy requires honesty, and they're just upset because you held a mirror up to them and they didn't like what they saw. Hopefully, the therapist supports you and they start to change, but in the meantime, plan for your future. Maybe talk to your grandfather about setting up an exit strategy for when you turn 18. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.